And here it is again. No, I'm sorry. Oh, there is a thing. Is it true that you suffer worse jet lag coming back to Australia than leaving? And if so, why? Well, I haven't left Australia yet, since I'm in the room. But we did when we came here. We were so concerned because we had heard the stories of demon drop bear jet lag. Jet lag that out of the overhead compartment, these Wallamanga beasts will jump down and cause you to sleep for 9 days when you get here. And yeah, we did a show. I keep saying we because it's the royal we, but the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe crew and I did a show up in Vancouver thanks to Fred right over there. Fred organized the show. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Why not? But we all met at Newark Airport. Now, Newark Airport is on the east coast of the U.S., so it's in New Jersey, Newark by New York City, and we flew, 6 hours to Vancouver, 6.5 to Vancouver. Now, we didn't sleep the night before because we had a 7 a.m. flight, so no one slept. We met at the airport at 5, but each of us is 2 hours away, so I left my house at 3 in the morning. I normally go to bed around 3:30 in the morning, so there was no way I was going to sleep. So 3:30 in the morning, go to the airport. We go to Vancouver. We get off the plane, we go to lunch, we go do the show, we go to the meetup afterwards, and then we go back to the airport in Vancouver. And then from Vancouver, we go to Sydney. 14 hours, right? But since we had been up for 30 hours to get to Vancouver, we were all zombies. So we all passed out on the plane, woke up, all of a sudden, we left on Saturday, and now all of a sudden it's Monday, 10:30 in the morning. It was morning, and we were fine. We were totally fine. So, if you are, now going back, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I think my DNA will never forgive me. But I'm going to try to stay up again the whole night before, just so that. Okay, I'll send a note. Yes, I'm hoping to stay. I leave on the 11th, and that morning I have a 5 a.m. balloon ride planned. There's a fan of mine who's I do balloon rides. You want to go for a balloon ride? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, okay, how about the 11th at 5 a.m.? I'm like, perfect. So I'll just stay up, then go to the balloon ride, and then go to the airport and blah, blah, blah. So that should work. So we'll see. We'll see. And there it is again. What is this thing? This is awesome. What is it? Who did this? Is this significant or is it just a doodle? You're just being silly? What's that? You did it. It's an optical illusion. Dude. Do red cars go faster? And there's no apostrophe in cars, by the way. That's okay. Do red cars go faster? Yeah, apparently because the men that own them are less secure, so they have to go faster. What is the correct definition of the Aussie colloquialism? Oh, here we go. Chuckayui? Is that right? Man, last night I was tested on Kiwi pronunciations, So I'm sitting there okay, I know WH is f, and I was wucked the entire time. It takes a minute, yeah. Chuckawai, Chuckayui. That's when Chewbacca recycles. No? Is that? So what is it? What's the definition? Anybody? Oh, is this some penis thing you don't want to say out loud or what? What's that? That's a U-turn. Chuckayui. Oh. So it's an ancient term. Maori. It's a Maori. They're backing signals well, I won't say it. What are your musical influences? Isn't it obvious? Yes. Yeah, well, it's, Frank Zappa, it's Talking Heads, it's XTC, it's Police, it's Stan Freberg, it's Frank Sinatra, it's what's his name from Power Station? The guy who really is important to me that I can't remember his name. What's that? Robert Palmer, thank you very much. Just for the suits, Robert Palmer. I love Robert Palmer. I don't know if you remember the band Power Station, but this was half of Duran Duran and Robert Palmer, and the drummer from Chic, which is like, Freak Out. That's the band Chic. So a really funky, cool drummer, Tony Thompson, who's just tremendous. And then the bass player from Duran Duran and the guitarist from Duran Duran and Robert Palmer. And I loved that it was kind of this harder edge thing, and he was wearing an Armani suit. That was awesome. That was so cool. I was 12. I thought like, ooh, dichotomy of style and substance. Sweet. So that was very influential. What would you like your last words to be? Oof. Mumbled into a vagina. You brought your kids. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know it's terrible. I know. I'm sorry. I did the first show I did. It was in Brisbane, and they're like right here. There were like 4 beautiful silver foxes. These ladies. They were at least like the youngest one was 70. The kid was 70 out of the batch, and they just sat and they listened. And I just kept apologizing. And I'd be like, "Dick joke, dick joke." I'm so sorry, ladies. I'm wearing a tie. I am wearing a tie. So yeah. So. By making your music available online, do you think you've increased your fan base? Oh, no question. No question. I mean, it is such the antithesis of the Western model of business that you have to give stuff away and then people will buy it. What? But the song that I have had, up until the new album, the song that I had online for free the longest was the most downloaded song. Brains, Body, Both was the first song I put on my website. When we put up a website, and it was the first song that was there, and it had been there the longest, and it was downloaded the most. When I put my entire album for free in my feed, 2 weeks later, that album was the best. It had outsold everything else I had done combined. So there is no question. It's very counterintuitive and very strange, but yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Geo, John Cleese or Graham Chapman? How do you choose? How do you choose? You know, Graham had a little bit more of a silly thing that because Graham never seemed like he would be quite as silly as he was. John had that reserved silly thing. And John, I remember, this is of course from Monty Python, but I remember reading that Eric Idle wrote a sketch where it's a wine tasting sketch. And all of the wine is urine. And it's all like, oh, Chateau, no, it's wee-wee. And then the next thing's, oh, it's okay, Australian, Domichas 74. No, it's wee-wee. And like John Cleese hated that sketch. Like he couldn't stand it. So I bet Graham would have been okay with it. So I'm going to go with Graham, but just barely. Graham had the good notion to die too early so that you don't get to see him grow old. So do you have skeptical groupies? And if so, how many? Yeah. Sure. I have skeptical groupies, a couple here and there. No, I have skeptical friends and like people that listen to my podcast. It's a very one-sided relationship that I have with and I don't want to say fans, like I genuinely call them friends because anyone that listens to me prattle on week after week is a friend, is a good friend. So when I meet people, all of a sudden, I just get to see them in person, and I know very little about them, and they know a lot about me, but it's fine because then we just start the conversation and we're good to go. So I don't consider them groupies or whatever. I genuinely consider my listeners friends, and I'm exceptionally lucky in that factor. 2-part question, George. What is your thought? What is your thought on the Creative Commons movement, and how many suits did you pack on your trip to Australia? Creative Commons is fantastic. Like I said, give it away. People will buy it. Very counterintuitive, but Creative Commons also has this thing that you can kind of use other people's material and then remix it, reshape it. So if someone does a painting of something, and posts it online, you could use that in your movie as long as you don't make money off of it, and you say this is a painting that I used by whoever. I think it's great. I think it's really great for the art community, artistic community, science community too. This idea of Creative Commons papers now too. That information can be traded, and it's fantastic. And I packed 4 suits for the 3 weeks. Picking which 4? Oh, that was torture. Ooh, here's a homeopathic question. Why is it easier to find astrology books than science books today? Yeah. You go to the bookstore, man, and it's like, here's the science section. And here's the Oprah section. Wow. It's like, shit. I don't know, because fantasy's fun, you know. Fantasy is fun, and science books are really hard to write. Astrology books are really easy to write. So any schmuck with a typewriter, no, we used to have these things called typewriters. Yeah, after taking an ether frolic, you can use your typewriter, and you can write to Collier's magazine, and you can try to get, yeah. Cool. So give yourselves a round of applause. Nice questions.